Well, today we're going to finish up our series on the fruits of the Spirit. And today we're going to end that by talking about the last of those 9 fruits of the Spirit. We've talked about love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and now self-control. And as in all lists in the Bible, there does seem to be a progression of thought as we go through these. And without self-control, all of those other fruits of the Spirit are meaningless. You can't love if you don't have self-control. You can't really understand peace and joy and all those things without self-control. So we're going to talk about this word self-control. It's a word that's only used 4 times in the New Testament, and most of those are in lists. One of those lists is in 2 Peter. We're going to take a look at that in just a little bit. The other list is here in Galatians chapter 5, verse 22. But there is another occurrence of this word, and that's in the book of Acts. In the book of Acts, in chapter 24, verse 25, the Apostle Paul is standing in front of Felix, and he's really on trial. Paul is trying to give a defense for his faith, but he's also trying to evangelize this Roman governor. And he presents to Felix this progression of thought. It says, while Paul was talking to him about righteousness, self-control, and the judgment to come. Now, I want to just kind of let that sink in for a minute, that this was Paul's approach to evangelism. He's standing in front of a Roman governor who has the ability to put him into prison, to maybe even take his own life. And instead of just saying, hey, take it easy on me, let me go free so I can preach the gospel, he just puts it right out there what it is. Righteousness, which means you've got to be right with God, and self-control, which means you've got to have your life under control. Now, that doesn't sit well with men. I've worked with men for a long time, and we've talked about self-control. Men don't like the idea of self-control because they like to be in control of their own lives. Their idea of self-control is that I control everything, when in actuality, it's the world around them that is controlling them. Most often, we relate that to drugs, alcohol, pornography, various sexual vices, whatever. Those are the kind of things that control men. But there's other things. There's money, there's greed, there's anger, there's all of these issues that can become controls in and of themselves. So Andy Stanley would put it this way. He would say, are you in control of your life? That's what self-control is all about. But I would twist that just a little bit, and I would say, what is controlling your life? Because even if you are in control of your life, that's really not the goal for a Christian, is it? The goal for a Christian is to have God in control of your life, that we live our lives for Him. We were created for His glory. We were created to bring worship to Him. That's what we are supposed to be doing. And if you're not doing that, then your life is out of control just by definition. So self-control means that your life is under control. It's not being controlled by the outside world, but it's also not being controlled by you. Your life is being controlled by God. Now, how do we do that? Well, that's where the list in 2 Peter comes in. In 2 Peter chapter 1, I love this list because it really works very well with the fruit of the Spirit. But here's a list that Peter gives us, and I'm just going to read this passage, and I'll let you figure out where Peter is taking this, okay? He says in, that's the wrong list. Here we go. 2 Peter chapter 1, beginning in verse 3. Seeing that His divine power has granted to us everything pertaining to life and godliness through the true knowledge of Him who called us by His own glory and excellence. So there's a knowledge that's involved in self-control. You have to know Him, okay? Verse 4, for by these He has granted to us His precious and magnificent promises, so that by them you may become partakers of the divine nature, having escaped the corruption that is in the world by lust. So there's the issue right there, lust. You're in the world, and lust is always going to draw you away from God into the world. lust is going to make you want the things of the world more than you think, more than you want the things of God. So how do you escape that? Well, let me just give you Peter's pathway to escape that. For this very reason, also, applying all diligence, in your faith supply moral excellence, and in your moral excellence, knowledge, and in your knowledge, self-control, and in your self-control, perseverance, and in your perseverance, godliness, and in your godliness, brotherly kindness, and in your brotherly kindness, love. For if these qualities are yours and are increasing, they render you neither useless nor unfruitful in the true knowledge of our Lord Jesus Christ. So right there is the pathway to self-control. And self-control is sandwiched right in between these two things, knowledge and perseverance. Isn't that interesting? That we need to know the truth. We need to know God, and we need to know what it takes for Him. But we apply self-control to that, and that requires perseverance. It requires endurance. It's a trial and error process. We succeed and we fail. We succeed and we fail. And this is the Christian life, that you will have this never-ending process of victories and failures. But Paul talked about this in Romans chapter 7. He said, the things that I want to do, I find myself not doing. I find the things that I don't want to do, I find myself doing. And then he says, wretched man that I am, who will save me from the body of this sin? Praise be to Jesus Christ our Lord. And that's really the key. That's the key to self-control. Knowledge, got to know, and then the effort, the self-control effort, but then perseverance. And you will find in that perseverance that the key to victory and self-control is in turning the reins over to God. To let Jesus Christ live in here and let Him guide you. Follow Him. When you're following in His footsteps, you don't have time for all that stuff for the world. You're following Jesus, and that is the process that takes us to the victory of self-control. So there you have it, the 9 fruits of the Spirit: love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Hopefully you gained some knowledge and understanding about this. We're going to start next week. We're going to start a new series on the Apostles' Creed. Don't know if you're familiar with the Apostles' Creed, but it's been around for about a millennium and a half, what we believe about God. And we're going to take that. There are 12 tenets of the Apostles' Creed. We're going to take those one by one and look at them and see what do we believe and where do we stand on these. So, all right, everybody, that's it for now. God bless, and we'll see you next time.